Federal Reserve's been around for 100 years. We've been protesting it since 2008. Doesn't seem very long, but we also have a few other guys that have been putting the word out for a very long time about the Federal Reserve. So for those who may not understand what the Federal Reserve is, probably not in this crowd, but the Federal Reserve essentially takes your money through printing fiat currency out of thin air that is directed by the federal government and creates debt out of it where you have to pay it back through interest. And that interest is then paid back to the Federal Reserve by your labor. So you're essentially a serf for the banksters. That's a very simple explanation. Recently, the Federal Reserve has been taking trillions of our dollars and giving it to foreign banks. If you don't know that, you should look up the GAO report. This type of information is not getting everywhere out there in the United States, which is what End the Fed nationwide has tried to bring to the public. We try to get all of the Federal Reserve branches, and we get people there every year. At a minimum, there is one event every year, and we've been trying to do, I think we did 6 events this year. Out in front of the Fed, we've done it down at the farmers market, and then all throughout the country at Federal Reserve locations, there are people just like us that get together and they say, "What the Fed?" Okay? And what the Fed means is, who are these people? Are they elected? Are they giving, us our representation that we're supposed to have? Are they the 1% or the 0.001%?
They are tyrants.
Tyrants? Who are they, right? They're just guys that like taking vacations. They like taking vacations with koala bears. And guess what? Your 401k pays for those vacations. That money sits in your bank. Actually, the money sits in their bank. The money sits in their bank making them money. So if you have a bank account and it has more than $100 in it over the course of any given week, you're doing something wrong, okay? That money needs to work for you, not work for them. What I try to tell people is, unless you're really good at math and statistics, don't even try to play their game, because you're not going to win. We work all the time to try to pay back this money that they create, and we get a little bit of it to spend on, I don't know, whatever, bread, eggs, or whatever, which is very interesting, because if you consider how the Federal Reserve steals our money, how do they steal it? They steal it through inflation, right? They create the taxation, which just happened to be on 1913 when this all started in the first place. So if you ask yourself, well, wait a minute, why are eggs more expensive now than they were 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 years ago? The reason is because all the chickens got together and created an egg cartel, and they decided to make the price of the eggs go up every year. Huh? Right?
Yeah.
No! The eggs don't go up because of the chickens. They go up because they keep printing money out of the Federal Reserve. Okay? So, if everyone's heard of G. Edward Griffin, they talk about the Mandrake mechanism. They just create the money, and that's essentially what happens. So, we all know that. I'm hoping that those of you who have the video will be able to present it to people that don't understand this, and just Google the Federal Reserve, Google End the Fed San Francisco, End the Fed US, something, and you're going to find information about how the Fed works and how go to the Federal Reserve site and find out what the Fed says that they do. It's very interesting because they say exactly what we say, because that's what's in the Federal Reserve Act. And so anyways, biggest buildings in all of the cities are always the banks. The biggest buildings are the banks because they want to keep all of your money for them and not give any of it back to you, of course. So anyways, what do we do about it? So I think I want to just leave you guys with a thought, which is, okay, we can be out in front of the Federal Reserve. We can talk to people throughout the country about this, and we can say end the Fed. Some people ask, well, what are you going to replace it with? I say, well, I don't think we have to replace it with anything. There are several people out there that are a lot smarter than me about how to do better monetary systems. There's cashless currencies that are not part of the government, Bitcoin and stuff like that, what I think people need to look at. There's also other commodities. Guys like Bill Still, G. Edward Griffin are people that I recognize. Maybe the next guys up can recommend some other people to listen to as well. But I think it's all about us, ultimately. It's about you and me. It's about the banks that we put our money into. What bank do I put my money into? I put my money into a very small bank that doesn't have a lot of owners, okay? And like I said, how much money do I have in my bank? Well, not a lot, okay? Because that's the way I roll. And so you have to put your money somewhere. You can put it under your mattress. The bottom line is it's peer-to-peer. It's you and me. It doesn't matter what political spectrum you're in, what I'm in, what the guy in Timbuktu's in. We all have to come together and say what the Fed is going on with this country. What the Fed is going on with this country and other countries that have central banks ruled by the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. These organizations are stealing the world blind. Just ask somebody in Cyprus, for God's sakes. Just look up Google, say Google Cyprus, Cyprus money. Where's my savings account that 70% was stolen? Okay, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that they're robbing us blind. Okay, so if you consider yourself left wing or right wing, or I don't know what wing I'm in, that's where I fit. I think I'm an anarchist, which means no rulers. Okay, I don't want anybody to rule over me. And let's not get it wrong, is if you put your money in the bank, you are being ruled. You're being ruled by their rules, okay? So let's just not kid ourselves. So why are we out here? We're out here because we don't want any rulers, right?
Right.
And I have to stand in one place. Okay.
That's slavery.
I'm shackled to the microphone. Anyways. Yeah, no, I think that's all I have. I mean, I want to get together with you guys, and I hope you guys want to get together with me and all the other speakers, and Occupy can talk to whoever else is on the street, and let's just talk. Let's just get this dang thing going and get rid of all of these central banks and fiat currencies and crud that these people are putting us through. So.
Bravo! Bravo!